Hey, what the hell's going on, you guys? This is Stupid Player Negative AE, and welcome to When They Cry. So I'm a little bit excited for this one because I've always wanted to see the anime. I don't think I've gotten past like half of the first episode in the anime, but I've always wanted to watch it. And then Humble Bundle a couple months back did a manga bundle where they included this and all of the chapters in it. For like only a couple dollars, and that's totally within my price range. I'm excited to play this. We're gonna see what happens. I hear it's pretty linear, but it's an interesting story, so I'm interested. Let's see what goes on. I'm turn it down a little bit. Welcome to the world of Higurashi When They Cry. The Oni Kakushi arc will be inviting you into this world. Don't play through, just enjoy life in Inamizawa to the fullest. Difficulty is extremely high, but I hope you will enjoy the reward. Wonder what they mean by difficulty. Please do not lament. I will forgive you even if the world will not forgive you. Please do not lament. I will forgive you even if you will not forgive the world. So please tell me, what will it take for you to forgive me? This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons or organization is entirely coincidental. Early summer of the 58th year of the Showa era. If I was going to be ripped apart anyways, having my body ripped apart would have been far better. I trusted her. No. I still trust her. And in this very moment, I trust her. But I'm starting to realize I only wanted to trust her because I refused to accept the truth. It was as if I was trying to convince myself in such a silly, sobbing voice. Oh, fuck. Mechanical, repetitious sound finally stilled and everything fell silent. Only the cry of the cicadas remained, annoyingly loud, and yet I felt as if I could still hear her voice. That's not possible. She is no longer speaking. The only one crying is me. She never cried. Even when she repeated those words over and over, she never expressed any emotion because there were none to show. If she had no tears to shed for me, then I shouldn't need to shed any tears for her. Then why? This pain. My eyes getting moist. Why was this happening? I wanted to believe I hadn't been split apart. That's enough, right? Inside me, an inner voice whispered gently. My spirit had suffered enough. Countless times I'd wavered over whether I should just throw the battered thing away. Except I stubbornly refused to do that, haven't I? I'd feel better if I just threw it away. Even knowing that, I chose to believe, didn't I? Only I can understand that painful struggle and appreciate it. Hey, me? I've tried more than enough. I'll acknowledge that much. So, isn't it all right just to take the easy way out? Besides, I'm not throwing it away. I'm leaving it behind, with her, like flowers by a grave. Now then, calm your nerves. Even though you can't feel your right arm, sit up. Every swing, forget a little more. Kindness made me happy. The adorable smile brought me joy. I liked petting your head. Like the past tense, I loved how demure you were. Because this will be the last time. Because when I swing this down, I'll forget. This is my first and last bouquet for you. Perhaps I really did love you. Someone's killing somebody. Oh, I'm so glad I'm playing this. Alright, here we go. Somebody has been apologizing for a while now. I wonder what she's apologizing for. Felt so wrong to eavesdrop, so I tried to ignore it. It had been a while since I'd last went to the city. I had only returned to attend the funeral of a relative. Even though I'd lived there until last month, I found the bustle of the city to be overwhelming. Those skyscrapers and the multi-lane roads, the melodious cacophony of the crosswalk. Even the campaign speeches blaring in front of the station felt nostalgic. The place where I live now isn't nearly as lively. Only the chirping of locusts and the babbling of brooks, and the cry of the Higurashi, evening cicadas. Rather than making me feel lonely, that quietness had begun to instill a sense of serenity. There is nothing where I'm living now. I don't just mean that there aren't any burger joints. There aren't even any vending machines. No music stores, no restaurants, no arcades. Even an ice cream parlor would be unlikely. The nearest town had some stuff like that, but it's an hour away by bike. But come to think of it, it wasn't really a big deal. There were music stores and arcades and ice cream parlors, but it wasn't like I ever hung out at any of them. I lived in the city for 10 years and never once been to an ice cream parlor. Should have at least gone once. It's only now that I'm starting to regret that a little. Somebody is still apologizing. Who is she apologizing to? She's apologized so much, so just forgive her already. There's no reason anyone should ever need to apologize so much. I started to feel a bit annoyed at whoever was refusing to forgive her. No matter how bad the mistake, there's nothing that can't be forgiven. There's no such thing as an irreparable mistake. You just need to be more careful next time. She's still apologizing, even now. Then, has she really done something that can't be fixed? I have no idea what she's done, but if it can't be fixed, then that's all the more reason to forgive her. No matter how much she apologizes, nothing will change. And so she keeps apologizing in such a heartbreaking voice. Hey, you, one she's apologizing to. Why don't you just go ahead and forgive her? She's apologizing in such a pathetic voice. Keiichi, we're almost there. Wake up. I was finally roused from my nap by my father's prodding. Okay, here we go. It seemed the rain had reached its final stop. We spent hours riding everything from the bullet train to the local routes. It was hard to believe that the landscape beyond the window and the city I was in half a day ago were the same country. No, that they were even from the same era. From there, we'd take a car deeper into the mountains. Past where the dense forest encroaching on the mountain road suddenly opened up. There, where I live now. Inamizawa. It's my best attempt, guys. I hope that was right. Inamizawa. It has that creepy vibe, guys. Like, I'm so excited for, like, what happens next. Like, it's like... Alright, here we go. Even though we were approaching the summer, the morning air still had a frigid bite. Although, in exchange, you could fill your lungs up with crisp, clean air. Flipping open the window, I was greeted with a verdant expanse. Nothing but trees. The neighboring house was far on the other side. so I was probably the only one enjoying that view in the air. It filled my lungs with another deep breath. Since I started living in Hinamizawa, I learned that even air has its own taste. I quickly finished getting ready for school and headed downstairs for breakfast. My mother was the only one there. My father was nowhere to be seen. He was probably working up until the early morning. Dad had a rather unconventional job as a painter. It's such a laid-back profession. Get up when you want, sleep when you want, and work when you want. I was so jealous of that easygoing lifestyle. I even wrote for school that I wanted to be a painter when I grew up. Dad was ecstatic about that. It was just because it looked easy. I'd never tell him that, though. Mom laid breakfast out on the table. Seaweed, pickled vegetables, raw egg, and grilled salmon. Mom was such a good cook, it was scary. A perfect, immaculate, ideal breakfast. Unlike my dad, who didn't know the meaning of the word schedule, my mom never squandered any time or effort. She hummed a little tune as she brought over the miso soup. It seemed like she was in a good mood today. I'm so happy you've been waking up early since we moved here, Keiichi. If you don't wake up early, or if I don't wake up early, I won't have time to eat breakfast. I thought I was being cute, responding with a wisecrack after being praised for being good. Full bowl of rice, or will half be enough? Pile it on. First, I savored the steaming hot rice with the seaweed. After that, I covered it with the egg. Between bites of rice, I enjoyed the crunch of the pickles. Not bad at all. Excellent as usual. Watching me clean my plate, my mom gave me a warm smile. I'm so happy you haven't skipped breakfast ever since we moved here, Keiichi. I was not a morning person when we lived in the city. I slept right until the last minute before school and rarely ate breakfast. Boycotting the breakfast Mom made me each morning, that was probably the only way I could protest being forced to attend cram school. I guess that was what you'd call my rebellious phase. I wouldn't so much as look at the breakfast she woke up early every day to make. If I could go back in time, I'd slap myself. Mindful of the time, Mom rushed me along with a wide grin. Isn't it about time to meet up with Reina-chan? Hurry, hurry. Mom really seemed to enjoy the fact that her son was going to school with a girl. Reina is one of my classmates. She really loves looking after people, coming to meet me every day without fail. The way I looked at it, a guy my age walking to school with a girl was just lame. But, well, keeping a classmate waiting for me every day wouldn't be very considerate. Seriously though, how long does Reina wait there for me every morning? Taking one last gulp of miso soup, I raced for the door. Please, Reina-chan, for the pickles. Or please, please thank Reina-chan for the pickles. Do it for the pickles, Reina-chan. Do it. Come to think of it, those pickles weren't store-bought, were they? If I'd known that, I would have savored them a bit more. Morning. Hey-kun. Or Keiichi-kun. Good morning. Her cheerful greeting was as fresh as the morning itself. You're always so early. You could try sleeping in sometime. If I sleep in, I'll keep you waiting. She's so conscious. Such a good person. Goddamn, dude. That conscious word. If that ever happens, I'll just leave you behind. Keiichi-kun, you're so cold. I'll wait for you all the time. I'll leave you in the dust, without looking back. Why are you so mean? Why? Reina had a slightly troubled look on her face. Toying with her was rather fun because of how quickly her mood changed. I'm kidding, I'd wait for you. With those words, Reina seemed to relax. Her face flushed bright red. Thank you. I'd wait forever until you came, Reina. No matter how long. Or forever. Reina turned bright red, steam rising from her head as her brain short-circuited. She's especially weak to this sort of talk. It's quite rare to find someone this fun to tease. Have you ever read a romance novel, Reina? Huh? I haven't. I'd never read any before. From that response, I gathered she was interested in them, but was too embarrassed to actually buy one. I couldn't imagine what would happen if she did read one. She'd probably turn red and pass out. Oh yeah, a message from Mom. She says thanks for the pickles. It was nothing. You're welcome. How were they? Not too salty? They weren't that salty. Actually, they had a pretty light flavor to them. It would have been fine just to be honest and say that they were good, but apparently I couldn't be that forthright. I'd like to ask something before that. Were you the one who picked them, Reina? Or was it your mom? Why do you ask? Were they too salty? Her attitude completely changed as she began to panic frantically. Was it you, Reina, or was it your mom? Why are you asking me who made them? Why? Well, depending on who made them, my opinion of them might change drastically. Huh? Huh? She counted frantically on her fingers, trying to remember the amount of salt she'd used to pickle them. It wasn't like I was trying to tease her, but I couldn't stop myself. Guys who take pleasure in this kind of thing are probably the worst. Guys like me. Reina nervously opened and closed her mouth over and over, trying to muster a response. It was me? Delicious. Huh? Pretty good, just like the last ones. It went perfectly with the rice. Her face went bright red again. She was completely spacing out. It truly was a lot of fun to tease her. I pray that Reina never gets taken advantage of by some lowlife. Keep at it, Reina. I'll train you until you handle it like the average person. Or so I decided for myself. Let's go. If we keep the Mion waiting, we'll never hear the end of it. Seeing as she just keeps spacing out otherwise, I called Reina back to reality so we could make our way to school. This strange, easily flustered girl is Reina... Reina Ryugu. I've only known her for about a month, but I've come to realize that it's not just her name that's strange. Like the music change? Mi-chan, good morning. Coming up to the rendezvous point, we saw another person waiting for us. Noticing us, she waved. Ah, finally. You two are late. Usually you're the one who's late. In sharp contrast to the diligent Reina, this one marched to the beat of her own drum. She's Mion Sonozaki. For what it's worth, she's our senior and head of the class. Morning, Reina. And it's been a while, Kei-chan. How many years? I was only off 2 days. You don't say. You were so much cuter back then. Mion's gaze started at my chest, then dropped straight down, focusing on the point between my legs. She was saying that it was my crotch that was cuter back then. Before you ask, just to be clear, I've never tried to show it to her. Is he telling me a story? That line right there was like weird, because it's like he's talking to somebody. Usually it's just from the perspective of the person, but this is like different. I've grown quite splendidly. You'd be surprised. I've grown quite, not only is he bigger, he has a little mustache now. Being so engorged with energy every morning is quite a problem though. I'll introduce you next time to make sure you greet him properly. You know what's weird? Is like it's hard to read who's saying what, you know? It's just kind of reading dialogue between 3 people that you have no idea. Right now, son, how about letting the little guy get a breath of fresh morning air? I don't think I've ever heard talk so dirty you could smell it fouling up the morning air before. Man sure does act like an old man sometimes. Gotcha. Time for the big reveal. Hope you don't regret it. As my hand reached for my fly, Reina began to ramble in a near panic. As my hand reached around, hey, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Red-faced and flustered, Raina tried to play it dumb, but it was obvious she knew exactly what we were talking about. I got it. I wasn't. Seeing the city again. Neon switched gears, dropping the dirty talk and changing the topic to something more benefiting the pleasant morning. I only went for a funeral. I didn't have much time. So yeah, did you look for it? That thing I asked for? You're not listening at all. I just came back from a funeral. I didn't have any time to look around in any toy stores. Tisk. Toy stores and hobby shops are completely different, you know? It's really difficult to get Western stuff around here after all. Is this about games again, Mii-chan? Mion nodded as proudly as Raina giggled. Yep, I wanted K-chan to bring me back a Westport catalog, you see? Westport was short for Western Imported Games. Using that abbreviation did make it sound pretty geeky. Can't you just get them one to send you in the mail? Or get them to send you one in the mail? Can't you? Jesus. Well, I guess I have to now. I'm going to get another game of full of hot action. This time, I'd like a game that's easy to understand. Neon is a board and card game enthusiast, and I hear she's collected quite a lot of different ones. According to Raina, Neon's room has become a museum for domestic and foreign games. If there's a game you'd think I'd understand, let me play it too. Of course. If K-chan is up for it. I should warn you though, we're pretty tough. Just what I want. I play all sorts of games. I don't intend to lose. But Mion's a gamer. Whoa. Then I guess I'll let you in the group this time, I guess. Bristling with joy from head to toe, Raina looked. Okay. So we're letting Raina into the group. Mion gave her an affirmative wink and her expression perked up even further. I thought boys preferred playing outside more, so I figured you would want to. Raina laughed happily. From such a friendly conversation, you wouldn't think I had moved here less than a month ago. I understood that they did all they could to make a transfer student like me feel at home. I'll have to try harder to fit in, so they won't feel like they have to try and make me feel welcome. I felt like if I acted a bit more open than I usually am, it should probably be about right for this place. School we go. Let's quick save at school. Okay, I hope it quick saves. Hinamizawa was a really small village. Not only was there only one school, but there was only one class. That class encompasses all different grades and ages. There are about 30 students at different levels, and they all study in the same class. I'm told that long ago, there used to be a bigger school building, and they actually had separate classes. However, it seems something happened that made it become a single class, and now it stayed that way out of tradition. I was shocked at first, but humans adapt pretty quickly. I've already gotten quite used to it. The sound of children playing the sound of children playing started right from the morning. With such a lively mood, it felt more like a kindergarten than a proper school. Not that that was a bad thing. Neon, who had been walking in front of us up until then, suddenly let me take the lead. Right in front of the classroom door. So I was meant to slide the door open and enter the room first. Too bad. I wasn't gonna fall for that again. To think you'd give up the lead here. You meant for this to be a test of my skills. Neon chuckled with a hearty smirk on her face. What is it, you guys? Step back, Raina, it's dangerous. She's here. Huh? Then Satoko-chan is... Her name was Satoko Ojo. She was a disrespectful and prudent bossy kid. The way she talks was annoying, but it would be immature to get worked up over just that. The real problem was this. Quite the obvious trap, a blackboard eraser wedged in the door. It's too obvious, Satoko. A hearty laugh came from beyond the door. Excellent, Kei-chan. I guess that means you win this round. No, this is Satoko we're talking about. I doubt that this is it. After falling for such intricate traps since the day I transferred, I no longer let my guard down. Satoko liked to combine a variety of traps. Traps that were simply there to bait you into the main one. Traps that relentlessly kept coming at you like a sadistic Rube Goldberg machine. The list goes on. As well as being clever, they almost never misfire. When you least expect it, she strikes. No escape, no time to relax. By the looks of it, this eraser is normal. No rocks in it or anything. I took a pretty heavy hit from a blackboard eraser loaded with rocks on my first day. So why don't you just open the door and let it drop? That's what it is. That's what Sakoto was after. Or Satoko. Wow. Making me focus my attention upward, so as I lifted my hand to the door, there were thumbtacks stuck to the sliding door handle with tape. A frightening trap. A potent and terrifying trap. Concealed by using the blackboard eraser. An impressive combination, Satoko. But in the end, nothing more than the trivial machinations of a child. Assured of my victory, I threw the door open and stepped into the room. I felt something strange at my ankle. It was similar to the sensation of a jump rope catching on my leg. But by the time I realized she had me, hook, line, and sinker, it was already too late. I began to fall in almost a picturesque manner. Kei-chan, watch out! Instinctively reacting to Mion's shrill warning, I twisted my body mid-air before I landed on the floor. Ow, ow, ow. An inkstone filled to the brim was placed right where I would have landed. I shuddered, imagining the situation had I landed square on it. Jesus Christ. My, what do we have here? A fair morning to you, Keiichi-chan, or Keiichi-san. Aren't we a lively one this morning? Still sprawled out in an awkward position, I was greeted by a mocking voice. That was a step up from your usual traps, Satoko. I haven't the faintest idea what you mean. You're quite unlucky this morning. You little... ow. It seemed I'd inadvertently sprained my ankle a little when I had landed. Better than landing on that inkstone. A small hand gently rubbed my head. Pain, go away. The small, dainty hand continued to gently stroke my head. You didn't sprain your back or anything, did you? If you rub it like this, the pain disappears. I thought about asking how rubbing my head would help my back, but I didn't. It's not so much what you actually do, it's the thought that counts. Yeah, thanks, Rika-chan. The pain's going away now. Yay, Rika-chan, good morning. Good morning to you, Reina. Good morning to all. Rika-chan greeted all of us with an adorable little bow. It was infectious. Reina, Mion, and I all bowed back. You're such a good kid, Rika-chan. So much better than Satoko. I glared over in her direction. Satoko was whistling while rather deliberately trying to avoid eye contact. I am the very model of a good girl. A good girl wouldn't set those nasty traps. Nothing but lies and slander. Exactly what proof... Whoa. I picked up Sakoto by the back of her collar. She looks like a misbehaved cat when I do this. But a cat wouldn't be setting traps. She's much harder to deal with. I'm sorry. Try saying that. you won't say it. I cocked my index finger on my thumb and let it tremble as I brought it closer to Sakoto's forehead. I'm against violence. You don't have any proof. Just so you know, my forehead flick really hurts. It can split plywood right in half. Eek! Stop, get away from me, you beast. Don't say that in a way people will misunderstand. A small hand tugged on the back of my shirt. She's been lonely since you were gone for 2 days. Rika-chan is really just so... How could I do anything more after being told that? I gently released my grip on Satoko, who at this point was on the verge of tears. She still had her eyes clamped shut as she braced herself for the forehead flick. It doesn't bother me. You mustn't cry, Satoko. Keep on fighting. Yeah. Rika-chan petted the head of her prankster friend. You would never guess those two are the same age. I think Satoko-chan could learn a thing or a million from Rika-chan. Next time, set an even more amazing trap. Wait a minute. As she observed the scene, Reina's expression grew ecstatic as she began to swoon. Satoko-chan is crying. So cute. You can't take them home. Oh, but she's so cute. You can't, no matter how cute they are. Just for a bit, it's fine? It's fine? Reina kept a cutesy face, even as outrageous as the outrageous ideas spewed from her mouth. According to Mion, Reina is ridiculously weak to cute things and always tries to take them home. Object or person. Stealing is bad, but abducting people is even worse. Give it up. Then I can just look. Just looking. That should be fine, right? Right? Reina swooned over Sakoto's crying form. If a girl ever goes missing in Hinamizawa, I'll be forced to return Reina into the authorities. Forgive me, Reina. I'll be sure to bring you care packages when they put you away. The teacher's coming. Quickly, clean everything up. That inkstone is yours, right? Just from Mion's single statement, the entire mood of the room slid back to normal. The inkstone was bad, but the thumbtack stuck to the door handle were even a bigger problem. I pulled the tape off carefully, making sure not to skewer myself. Even though Satoko was the one who set it up, everyone had to pick up after her. By the time the teacher entered the room, the bedlam from before had been neatly tidied up. Ah, we made it in time. Rise, attention! Mion gave out the morning commands. Wait, is Mion the teacher? Oh no, she's just like the leader. It's difficult being the teacher for all these different grades in one classroom. She has to, she has to teach something different to each one. But naturally, she ends up spending spending all her time with the younger kids. Reina and Mion, being in the highest grade in the class, end up mostly doing self-study. They even end up teaching each other, or teaching the younger kids, so it seems like they can never get to their own studies. They're actually way behind where my studies have progressed to. As a result, I'm pretty much taking over for the teacher and helping Reina and Mion with their studies. You're a pretty good teacher, Keiichi-kun. Easy to understand. Reina took a breather after finishing highlighting an important section. Teaching is making me lose confidence. It makes me aware of how shallow my understanding of the subject is. They say that to teach someone something, you need to understand it backwards and forwards. So, while you're teaching us, you're getting in your own practice. In contrast, this person over here is quite the laissez-faire about things. For one, isn't she supposed to be in a higher grade than me? Look, Mion, this is for your own good. If you don't take this seriously there'll be trouble later on with these marks. It's not like I'm aiming to go on to a prestigious school. I'll be fine as long as I pick up what I need to know for the entrance exams a little at a time. Their staunch defiance was really something else. There was a different type of relaxed than somebody who already knew what was going to be on the entrance exams. Michan, Keiichi-kun is doing his best to teach us. We need to try hard too. You're such a good and honest kid, Reina. I'll make sure you guys get accepted into a good school. But what? Thanks so much. Especially you, Reina. Private lessons, just the two of us. Private lessons? A puff of smoke, shaped like a halo, popped out of Reina's head. Exactly what kind of private lesson is she fantasizing about that's making her turn so red? I'd like to hear the play-by-play about that next time. While Mion was flipping through her vocabulary flashcards, she threw out a casual question. So, in the city, do you have to study this much? If you don't know at least this much, you can't get into a university. So, you studied just to get into a university? Well, yeah, basically. While knowing that stuff won't ever come in handy in the future. Out here, you can get into a university as long as your attendance is good enough. Really? Study equals entrance exams. Having that basic law of the universe so easily overturned sent me into a state of shock. That's right. There aren't really enough people around here to warrant them weeding out with an exam. If anyone can get into a university, then there's no point in being all uptight about this stuff, right? Well, that's true, but you should at least know the stuff that's common knowledge. This old geezer thinks that instead of wasting his time studying pointlessly, you should be spending time, or your precious teen years, doing more meaningful things. It was too profound a statement to simply laugh it off. But since it was Mion, it probably didn't actually have that deep of a meaning. In place of a chime, the sound of the principal waving a handbell drifted through the classroom. Hey Chan, we're done. We're done. It's our wonderful lunchtime. In a complete 180 from her unmotivated state, Mion gave the commands to signal at the end of the morning period. Keiichi-kun, let's have lunch. I might have been making a very troubled face. Reina-chan smiled brightly at me. All right, let's eat. There seemed to be different cliques, even within the class. Most of them were divided up by gender and age, but our group was different. Our ages were different, we had both boys and girls. But we weren't reserved around each other. This level of openness makes a transfer student like me pretty happy. Reina and Mion pushed their desks together so they were facing each other. At the same time, Satoko and Rika-chan were slowly lugging their desks over as well. Ichi-kun, hurry, hurry! Reina waved her chopsticks in an unrefined manner, trying to hurry me along. Unless everyone was together, they wouldn't even open their lunchboxes. Keiichi-san's lunchbox is most assuredly filled with nothing but bread crusts and some sort of destitute plebeian. Why don't you just show it to us? Come on now. Even though Satoko was hurling insults at me, she still wouldn't open the lid to her lunchbox until I was there. I pulled out my lunchbox and swiftly dragged my chair over to join the circle. Hey, sorry to keep you waiting. Well then, Representative Me, give the signal to start. At first, this was kind of embarrassing, but I got used to it pretty fast. At this point, I probably wouldn't even open my own lunchbox if someone else was too slow. Our ages and genders may have all been different, but we were all friends. Let's eat. The sound of our 5-part chorus echoed beautifully throughout the classroom. Really though, I've gotten pretty used to this group made up of all girls. Of course, there were other boys in the class, but they were a lot younger, so they were scared to approach me. Well, that's to be expected. Younger boys just see older boys as scary. Compare that to girls, well, at least these girls aren't picky. Well, we put aside all the dishes in the middle where everybody was free to pick at them. I thought girls would mind sharing a meal with a guy, so I was a bit flustered joining in, however, Mion noticed and teased me quite a bit. As for the fruit of my efforts, I can now reach over and take sides from anybody's lunch. My, isn't Sir Keiichi's lunch extravagant today? My, isn't Madame Satoko's lunch extravagant as well? The stewed stuff has a nice look to it, rather trendy. Buying into the fight that Satoko was starting, our chopsticks locked in a cross-counter, stabbing into each other's lunch. My, how delicious. Oh, this taro is good. The stewed stuff is good too, even cold. After seeing my happy face, Rika-chan's expression broke into a little smile. I saved some from dinner last night. By the way, Satoko and Rika's Chan's lunches were always the same. It seems that Rika-chan makes it for both of them every day. Rika-chan made this too? These taste like mom's home cooking. I was honestly impressed. The carrot rosettes weren't from a mold, they were done by hand with a knife. That's not easy to do. I guess Rika-chan's just good at this sort of thing. She's really good at sewing, laundry, and stuff like that. Amazing, right? Amazing. Rika is quite exceptional in many ways. Oh. It's nothing for you to boast about. Rain is actually better at cooking than I am. Huh? Well, you know. It seemed that the topic of conversation switched to Reina when she wasn't expecting it, making her blush and trip over her words. Reina's lunch really was the star of the table. Not only did it look good, it tasted good. Everyone else pulled from Reina's lunchbox constantly. Everyone liked this one so much before, so I made it a lot this time. It's good, I hope. It's got high marks from me. Mion, you're taking too much. Knocking Mion's chopsticks aside, I reached out, trying to secure my own portion. Satoko and Rika-chan reached over at the same time, and a struggle ensued. Everyone shoveled in mouthful after praising it, and Reina's lunchbox was soon empty. It was kind of bad that no one thought to leave any for Reina, but Reina seemed rather satisfied as she looked on. How do you like it? Isn't Reina-san an extremely good cook too? Quite different from Keiichi-san. I said that's nothing for you to boast about. You're not much different from Kei-chan, Satoko. Can you tell the difference between broccoli and cauliflower yet? Satoko's face went pale. Hey, even I can tell the difference between broccoli and cauliflower, you know. Of course I can. I really can. It's really hard for her to lie. Keiichi-kun, both taste good when they're boiled with and topped with mayo, right? Shouldn't be picking on her. Mi-chan too. Reina hurriedly tried to follow up, but Mion laughed heartily as she drew closer to Satoko. Well, let's just pretend it's a little home ec lesson. Now then, Satoko, what's this? Mion lifted up her chopsticks. Between them was a piece of green stuff wrapped in bacon. But that's a sperm... Mion made eye contact with me, and within 3 seconds I had Rika-chan's mouth covered. Holding a piece of bacon wrapped asparagus and giving her two choices. She's pretty terrible. Well, the other one is cauliflower. No, wait, the green one is cauliflower. So, there's, the other one is probably broccoli and the blue one is cauliflower. But the green one is, do you really not know which is which? How about you just give up? Expect no less from the class representative. The oldest. The way she drives people into a corner just shows how much experience she has. This is just a hunch, but being brought into the Sonozaki household might be quite the ordeal. I do know. I really do. Then answer the question. She finally broke down and started crying. When she acts like this, she actually starts to seem like her age. Huh. Oh, cute. Reina let out a state of euphoria as Satoko bawled her eyes out. Reina was in a state of bliss as she rubbed her cheeks against Satoko's head and smothered her. Really, a very content face. One that wouldn't care if the world ended right then. It was that kind of smile. Reina, Mimi is picking on me. Wah. It's okay. Reina One-chan will take care of those bad people who tease my little sister. Bish poof bang. Like a flash of lightning. What was that just now? Both of Reina's fists shot out at supersonic speeds, striking Mion and me squarely in our faces. Before we knew it, Mion and I were sprawled spread eagle on the floor, staring up at the ceiling with matching welts on our faces. This is the first time you've gotten one, right? Today she went easy on us. Easy? You mean there's something harder than this? With that, Mion and I both slumped our heads back to the floor in unison. From now on, I'll be careful when within striking distance of Reina. See, Satoko-chan, I took care of them. Cute. I want to take you home. Making sure Reina couldn't see it, Satoko stuck her tongue out at us. Damn it all, using Reina like a puppet. Rika-chan massaged our bruises without saying a word. Alright. No matter what the day had held, last school bell always comes too soon. Or always came too soon. I'm going to go ahead and save it right here. Thank you guys so much for watching this first episode. If you guys enjoyed this, especially since it's the first episode, hit the like button. It's a lot of reading. But I really like, I don't know. I like the theme, I guess. It's very like calm and tranquil. But then there was that part at the beginning that was like all like, whoosh, you know, with the freaking hitting of whatever was going on. So I'm excited. I'm gonna see what happens. They obviously have a story to tell, so if you guys want to see, consider subscribing. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, you guys.